what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're here at windy Williw Springs Raceway in California for a very special event and a super special car. It's this one right here. This is the all-new, first time ever 2022 Porsche Cayman 718 GT4 RS. But before we get into this, basically Porsche mid-engine track car for the street, let's talk about what's going on here. The 718, the Cayman, it's been around since 2006. And it's been that unique vehicle that has basically been the gateway into the sports car world with Porsche. Slotting underneath the mighty 911, originally focusing on Porsche doing a lot of work with the Boxster in the 1990s. It wasn't until 2006 when they came out with a tin roof example of the Boxster known as the Cayman. Now, over the past few years, they came up with a number designation, 718, and on top of that, they did in 2016 come out with a GT4. Well, guess what? Something that we have all been waiting for, the true sports car enthusiasts that love Porsches, we've been waiting for this, the addition of the mighty RS badge to the GT4 718. Now, what does RS stand for? It stands for Rennsport. It's that racing place of just pure joy and happiness for Porsche. These cars are built special by the same group of engineers, designers, and builders that put together the mighty 911 RSR race cars and going into the future of GTP prototype racing. Now, this being a mid-engine car, compared to the 911, 911 is a rear-engine car. That engine sits past the rear axle. This being a mid-engine car really is the sweet spot for that perfect weight distribution, and now truly getting the Porsche 911 GT3 engine, that flat six, naturally aspirated screamer, goes all the way up to 9,000 RPM. What I want to find out is, first of all, did Porsche do all the right things to make this GT4 RS worth the price? And is this basically a super car killer? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this beautiful, bright yellow Porsche GT4 RS and find out. Right off the bat, the style. It has that look of a 718 that you're familiar with, but you know it's got the extra goodness. It all starts at the front end of the business. You do, of course, are going to get those awesome LED headlights from Porsche with the blacked out interior. Looks great. And it's interesting because overall, me personally, I really like the style of the 718. I do like a 911, don't get me wrong, but the 718 just holds a sweet spot in my heart with the overall proportions and style of it. On the GT4 RS, you'll notice the addition of this side wind curtain. This is going to help clean up the air. As we're going through the turns here at windy Williw Springs Raceway, this is actually going to smooth the air as it goes down the side of the vehicle. You'll also notice the front splitter extended out to give us not only downforce, but also stop air, as much air as possible, from going underneath the vehicle, because that's going to create lift. If you're wondering, well, Joe, this 718 GT4 RS looks pretty low. It's actually about a little bit more than an inch lower than a GT4. So that's work that they've done with the suspension, but we'll get into that in a few moments. You'll notice we got this beautiful wire mesh, and of course the heat exchangers behind it to channel all that air. More air is going to be ducted right through the fender into that beautiful shape all the way around the wheel. And then as we come across the front, you got that nice low slung hood. You'll see the GT4 RS badging on the splitter, which is larger than your standard GT4. More the wire mesh finish, the way the bodywork, it's just sculpted in that wind tunnel. But the great news is it looks like a Porsche, even with all the additions. Of course, when it comes to aerodynamics, air needs to go somewhere. We don't want air trapped in any of these beautiful body parts. So you'll notice the wire mesh on the nose to help that airflow. And then on the bonnet here, the front hood, this is actually carbon fiber. Your fenders are carbon fiber, and the hood, you'll notice the mighty Porsche badge from Stuttgart, Germany. This is actually a decal to cut weight and this vehicle is lighter than your standard GT4. To cut weight, instead of being an emblem, it's an actual decal of the Porsche crest. Now, when we get up onto the carbon fiber hood, you'll notice these Naca Ducts. These were developed by NASA to help flow air over, but also flow air in. And these two ducts, these Naca Ducts, are specifically for brake cooling on those front rotors. And the beautiful thing about it is that they don't create a lot of drag. You could put a big scoop, but that's going to create drag. With this kind of ducting, you're not going to have as much drag, and the air is going to get to where it needs to be. Now, as we come around the bend, check it out. We have all new wheels. Of course, standard will be forged aluminum wheels, or they have optional magnesium wheels. And you can see all the beautiful work that they have with these wheels, the way it's shaped. You have that satin black finish, massive 6-piston Brembo calipers, bright banana yellow. Now, when you see yellow calipers on a Porsche, that usually is going to designate we have carbon ceramic rotors. And guess what? We have those carbon ceramic rotors, super size, larger than the GT4s, to give us that braking capability that is second to none. And then on top of that, you'll notice that specific with the wheels on the RS, you're going to get the center locking wheels. If you look at a GT4, it's got the multiple lug nuts. This is going to help cut weight, also help aid with the design of the wheel, and of course, give you those faster changes to get the wheels swapped when you're doing your track day. I also love the addition of that yellow striping all the way around. Looks really great on our particular GT4 RS. And you'll notice we got the Pilot Sport Cup 2R tires. These tires were specifically designed with Porsche and Michelin for this car. And then, of course, suspension, Bilstein dampers, all four corners specifically tuned. The car sits lower for better handling, lower center of gravity, and aerodynamic efficiency. And then within the carbon fiber fender here, you'll notice we have venting up top. What is this for? This is to help release air that's trapped inside the fender. This is stuff that was developed through all their racing, Porsche's racing history and lineage at big races like the 24 Hours of Le Mans, 12 Hours of Sebring, sports car endurance racing throughout the world. And then remember, no other car company has won the 24 Hours of Le Mans more than Porsche. Going down the side, I love the way the fender has this line, and then the cutout, really looking great. You can see the sticky tires that we're going to get super sticky here at Willow Springs. The GT4 RS badging on the side. So much history with that RS badge. First time on a GT4 or any Cayman for that matter. Of course, you're going to have everything else is going to be the usual body lines of a Porsche 718. On the GT4, that lower sill, very nice the way it drops down for that aerodynamic efficiency. We're going to get air that's going to channel into the rear fender area. And then what's also different, that's major, is this guy right here. On both sides, we have venting, and it's wire mesh. Air is actually going to flow into here, into the air box, because this GT4 RS is going to sound unlike any other 718 that's come before. So air is going to rush into that location as well. Focusing on the rear, you'll notice we got 20-inch wheels out back, 295 on the width, 30 series on the sidewall to give us that stick. So we got a little bit more rubber, sticky rubber, to meet the track surface to give us that grip. And then, like I said, those center locking wheels with the bright, sparkly banana calipers. I want a banana split really badly right about now. Coming around back, what do we got? Check this out. Just like on the new 911 GT3, we have that swan neck suspension set up on the wing, the support system that's going to help the suspension work at the back. What's great about this design, which it may look a little weird, is that this actually limits the amount of drag. Compared to if this support was sitting underneath the wing, you actually have less drag, more downforce. This has at speed over 220 pounds more downforce than a GT4. Looky what I see. Love the way they worked all of the material on the back with the GT4 RS badge. That is that flat six naturally aspirated engine. We're going to talk more about that once we pop the rear area. But speaking of the rear, this is a rear end that I could stare at all day long and rub my hands all over it. You got that massive wing, just like on the 911 GT3, just like on race cars with the swan neck. We got the Porsche name all blacked out, GT4 RS, and then of course the massive rear diffuser with the sport exhaust, gloss black tips, oval cut, looking great, LED lighting on the taillights. But it's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's pop this engine hatch and check out the heart of this GT4 RS. All right, guys, we got the rear engine hatch open. Now, one of the things I've always been bummed out about, even with the mighty GT4s, you couldn't see the engine. Well, guess what? You still can't really see the engine, but they did their best to really showcase some of this magic. Now, underneath the engine cover, you're gonna notice, remember how I showed you on the outside, those air ducts and those rear quarter window areas? That's where the air from both sides is gonna go into that flat six. And deep within the heart of this beast, right in the middle, that mid-engine, perfect layout, you're looking at a 4-liter flat six plucked from the 911 GT3. We got 493 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. That's 79 more horsepower than a GT4. 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds flat with that 7-speed PDK. Top speed, a few ticks under 200 miles an hour. The car weighs around 3,277 pounds. And like I pointed out, we have those 20-inch forged wheels. We got 25% more downforce. That's 220 pounds at 120 miles per hour. And I'm sure you've seen on the interwebs, factory Porsche driver Jürg Burgmeister running that 7-minute, 4-second lap around the Nürburgring, so much quicker than a GT4. So not only is it about the horsepower, but how they fine-tune it. But you know what? What's beautiful about this vehicle? Naturally aspirated. Let's fire it up and hear what that flat six sounds like. Guys, we're inside this mellow yellow 718 GT4 RS, all new for 2022. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm in love with this car. It seems like they did their homework. They did what they said they were going to do by giving us the 911 GT3 motor. How much is it? MSRP starting for this vehicle is around $143,000. Obviously, depending on options, that's going to push it closer to $200,000. But let's see what you get for your money to the door panels. Love the leather, the gray contrast stitching, the carbon fiber, and then check out your door handle. It's literally a cloth yellow piece of material to help cut weight. We got that Alcantara Race Tex material. And then you do get a Twinkie tray. To honor the color of this Porsche, you do get a Twinkie cargo net and an actual Twinkie tray. That's for the supercars, the Lamborghini Huracans, the Ferrari F8s that you show up at your track day. Give them a consolation prize. That's the least you could do. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, great leather material, the stitch work, carbon fiber, and you know what? On your track day car, you could have your cup holders. You hit that, and you got your 2 cup holders. How crazy is that? Let me know how you feel about that, though. So, should that have been another thing that Porsche cut out to help cut the weight? But that is nice to have that flexibility. You get to the center stack. Of course, we got our chrono clock up top. Love the nice yellow trim that they have there. You are going to get that same older design when it comes to the AC vents and the technology. So you have the smaller infotainment system. This does not have all the updated technology that the GT3 has. And if you want to see more in depth of this, I will leave a link of a 718 GTS that we did with all the details on the infotainment. Super slim and trim on your radio controls. You got dual climate, which is great. And then this guy right here, this is going to control your 7-speed PDK. It's the only available transmission for the GT4 RS. I like the way they made it look like a shifter rather than that little nub that they have on the regular Porsche 911. but you got your Alcantara carbon fiber stitch work, and then you do have some buttons here. We could turn on our sport exhaust. You have your front axle lift system so you don't scrape that beautiful splitter, suspension, and the PDK sport shifting of that fast transmission, and then of course shutting our traction control on the other nannies. This is where you're going to want to put the breath mints, because your breath is going to be hot and spicy after driving this. Wonderful Alcantara, and then guess what? The best part are these guys right here. Full carbon fiber, one-piece back race seats. You can see the carbon fiber, the GT4 RS embroidery. Love the Race Tex material, high bolstering, and then of course for extra horsepower, we got the bright yellow seat belts. These seats, it's crazy. Once you drop into them, you feel like a newborn baby being held by their mother. And then on top of that, because of the rear here, I could see the engine without the carpet. You got a strut tower brace stiffening up the back, and the motor right behind you, that engine that's gonna scream to 9,000 RPM. Tons of room to get your helmet on, which we will be going on track. But why don't you get your butt over here? I wanna show you behind this Porsche steering wheel in our GT4 RS. All right guys, here we are. This is the business area. This is where you're gonna be doing the good work, cutting through those twisties like a hot knife through butter. You'll notice we got the GT4 RS carbon fiber sill plate. You have your buttons, your switch gear here to open up the frunk and the engine hatch, and then check out that pedal box straight from a Porsche race car. Nice dead pedal, brake, and throttle. Let me know if you're bummed out if I should zonk this because it doesn't have a manual transmission. That is a little bit of a bummer to me. I do love the seats though. Hold you in so perfectly, and this is what we're gonna need when we go on the track. The steering wheel is manual tilting and telescoping. Perfect round, small diameter. They hollow out all of the innards to cut the weight, and there's no radio controls or any of that garbage on the steering wheel. It's all about steering the car and getting that feedback. You do have metal paddles, not plastic, on the back of the steering wheel to actually go through that 7-speed PDK, lightning fast, and then the dash. Yes, you don't have all the fancy technology of the new GT3, the 992 GT3, but you got that tack in the center, you got your speedometer over to the left, and then of course you got the digital gauge on the right, but we don't care about that. And then of course that yellow striping right at the top. But you know what? If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle here at Williw Springs. But the way the car communicates, the brakes, the suspension, everything just makes you feel invincible. And it is a substantial jump over a GT4. Substantial. You're fooling yourself to think that it's not. And even though I love manual transmissions, this PDK does the business. Unbelievable. I mean, the steering wheel is so precise, and the sound of that flat 6, it screams. Absolutely screams. All right, guys. It's been one of those days here at Williw Springs Raceway where you just dream. You know, as a kid, you dream about having such a wonderful piece of machinery that you could connect to on a racetrack. First of all, I got to thank everybody at Porsche for inviting us to this media drive event to have time behind the wheel of this GT4 RS. Let me know what you think. Has Porsche done enough for the money? Is this one that you would buy? And is it, of course, a super car killer? Put your ideas and your thoughts in the comment section. But until we're at a track again, if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click that link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the track queen extraordinaire here on Raiti's Rides. Lori working that camera like a champ. Show her some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.